Today I'm going to show you how to make something follow you in Rec Room. And if you watch my previous tutorials on this, I want you to know that this one is more stable. It will automatically follow the closest person, and you guys requested that it didn't collide with walls. I also went through the comments of the old tutorial and found a couple different things to add to this that you guys requested. Alright, so as these tutorials always start, we want to start with a cube. Now when you get done making your cube, you're going to hit configure, hit it, and then you want to scroll down to tags, and we're going to make a real easy tag on this one, just E. Make sure to hit the plus button here. Alright, then you keep scrolling down. This is the really important part. Make sure that you check can modify with circuits. Make sure this is checked. If it's not checked, then this whole thing doesn't work. Next up, we need a look at gizmo. So I'm going to open the maker pen, go to palette, go to search, and get a look at gizmo. Now you want to spawn it right here on the top of the cube. I am going to turn on surface snapping just to make it easy. Next up, you want to open the palette again, and you are going to get a vector gadget. This thing right here. Now for this one, I'm going to place it right here on the side, but we're going to move it. So first thing you want to do is get this thing pointing upwards. Then you want to move it so that it's lined up nearly perfectly with this gold pin up here. That should be good for what we need. Now that you have this set up, you want to wire all of this together. So you're going to hit wire, and you want to wire the cube to the look at gizmo. And then you want to wire the vector gadget to the pin on the top of the look at gizmo. If I move these further apart, you should see these wires connecting them. And we're going to leave this for now and start working on circuits. So let's go into the palette and get our first circuit. First, we need an event receiver, and we are going to configure it to be a 30 Hertz receiver. Next, we need to get a set position chip. But we're not going to hook these up yet. We're going to fill out the set position. So first off, we need the target. We're going to be setting the position of that orange cube over there, which we tagged earlier with E. We need to use another chip that came out of beta, and we're going to find this by typing in width on the search bar, and it's the fourth one over. It's the Rec Room object get first with tag. Go ahead and configure the purple input to E. And then we're going to wire it to the target. Next, we need to tell it what position to set the target to. For this, we're going to need a get position chip, an add chip, and we're going to need the board hanging off of the vector gadget. So the position that we want the cube to move to is always going to be the position that the cube is already at, plus the vector that's coming out of the vector gadget. So the lower yellow one here. And now all we have to do is hook up the result to the position. Now this blue number, the magnitude of the vector gadget, that's going to control the speed of what will eventually be your monster. And I know from messing with it that 1 is way too much. So the number that works the best for testing is going to be the number that comes out right here, 0.0333333. So you can just attach this here, or you can do it manually. So now, before we hook all of this up, as with all the other follow gadgets, it has to follow someone with a role or an object. So we're going to go ahead and make the new role. Let's go into palette and get a role chip, and we're going to configure that role and give it a name. I'm going to call it Tasty. Now we need to add and remove this role from player. So I'm going to do this with 2 CV2 trigger zones, or trigger volumes, sorry. I'm also going to move the boards up and out of the way. We need a player add role and a player remove role. Go ahead and wire the player entered to the orange input and the target to the player on both of these, and then configure the purple input to match the role Tasty. So we want to come back to the cube and go to configure the look at gizmo. We want to switch the target type to player. We want to switch the tracking multiple to closest, and we want to tell it to track the role of Tasty. And lastly, we want to configure this 0 on the side to be a 1. Now the look at gizmo will look at anybody who has the Tasty role. And before we hook all of this up, we need to get a monster. Today's monster is Backrooms Monster 1 by Musty Socks. You want to configure your monster and scroll all the way down. Make sure you have can modify with circuits. If you don't do this, it'll freeze and it won't work. Once you've got that checked, you want to grab your monster by the face and you want to move him toward the look at gizmo. Just kind of slowly move him like this. You can have it pointing out if you want it to. That should work right there. You want to make sure that you have it pointing at you like you would want it to be in a game. Then you want to hit wire, and you want to wire the monster to the gold pin of the look at gizmo. So you might have to fly to get this to work. Just make sure you have it set up where you're going straight in, and make sure that the gold pin on the look at is what's being highlighted. All right, now that your monster's hooked up, we are ready to have it start following you. So you want to hit wire, and all you want to do is hook up your event receiver to the set position. And there we go. He starts following you. And as I said earlier, if you change this blue number, it will make him go faster. Stop. So after I made this entire recording, I discovered I forgot a very important chip. Go into your palette and get a if local player is room authority. You're going to put it right behind the 30 Hz receiver. Then you're going to connect the 30 Hz to the input and the I'm authority to the set position. If you do not do this, then it will not work when you add multiple players to the room. So this is really important. And for the rest of this video, just imagine that it's there because I forgot to put it in. If this video gets 200 likes, I will release it as an invention. So the first most requested feature you guys had on the previous tutorials was how to make him stay one level, make him not go up and down. So to get him to stay on one level, you're gonna need two chips. You need a vector split, which we're gonna put right here by the add, and you need a vector create, which you're gonna put next to the split. Now you're going to disconnect the add output, connect it to the vector split, connect the X from the vector split to the X on the vector create, connect the Z on the vector split to the Z on the vector create, and then you're going to connect the output of the vector create to the position on the set position. Now you have to manually set how high you want this guy to go. At 0, he'll be in the floor, so I'm just going to do 1. You'll have to adjust it and find the right number depending on what your room is. So let me go ahead and have him follow to see if 1 is a good number. All right, 1's still a little bit too low. So maybe let's try 2. 2 seems pretty good. And now if I start flying, he won't go up or down. He'll still look at me, but he won't move up or down. The way that we currently have it set up, if nobody has the roll, but this is still connected, it'll just follow the vector gadget. So we might need a system to turn that on and off. So in order to do that, we're going to use a get any player with roll, and we are going to use a is valid, and then we need a if chip. So we're gonna configure this string here so that it says the tasty roll. Basically what this is gonna say is that if anybody has the tasty roll, then this will turn to true. I come over here and I get the roll real quick, hook this up to the if, hook this up here. If anyone in the room has the tasty roll, then we want it to start following them. If nobody has the roll, then this will not be valid and it will have it go to else. So right now, if I hit that, it'll start following me. And then if I go hit the trigger zone over here and remove the roll, it'll turn off. The last thing I'm going to show you tonight is how to make this guy kill or respawn players. What we're going to do is get a CV2 trigger volume, just make it any size. Then we're gonna move it so that it's right here just in front of the monster. Then just like everything else, we want to wire the trigger volume to that front gold pin on the look at gizmo. I'm also going to move the board upwards here. Now you want to go wherever you want your players respawned. We're going to do it right here in this corner. Make sure that you're in the spot you want them to be respawned. So we are going to get a vector split, a vector create, and a get local player, and a get position. So we're going to wire the local player to the get position, the position to the vector split, and then what you want to do is transfer these numbers over here manually. So this one is negative 6.1, 6.2 will do. Let's see, so we go negative 6.2, and we'll do, what is this, 2? We could probably just do 2 for that. This one is negative 6.1. All right, we can get rid of these 3 chips. And now we want to get another set position chip. You're also gonna need a remove roll chip. I'm actually just gonna clone this one over here. So now you wanna hook the player entered at the top of the trigger volume board to the remove roll, and the remove roll to the set position. Then you want to attach the player that entered the trigger volume to the target, and you want to hook that same player up to the target on the set position. Then you want to set the position as the vector we created earlier. So now whenever somebody gets hit with that trigger zone, the monster gets you, it removes the roll so it won't chase you anymore, and it'll spawn you over here wherever this vector is. So the plan is to use this system to make things like a pathfinding AI, weeping angels, to teach you guys about animations. If I've made any of those, I'll put them here. If not, how about you watch some TikToks, rest your brain after all of this craziness. Use code RCL1, bye. Hey, what's up 9% gang? Thanks for making it this far in the video. Man, this one took some time. It's been like a month working on this. Find any emoji you want, put it in the comments for me. Let me know you were here. RCL out.